Hey folks, it's Michael Fiore with digitalromance.tv, and I'm here along with Nora, as always. And today's topic is
5 signs he just wants sex.
That he walks up to you and just says, I just want sex.
Well, because that's a good indicator.
Actually, we've had women write in and say they've met guys who said that kind of thing, and I always kind of admire it to a certain degree.
If that's what she's after too, why not?
Because he's being honest at that point. Right. At least he's not kind of playing a game. So what do you think are the 5 signs that a guy just wants sex and isn't actually interested in a relationship?
Gosh, if only I knew.
Yeah.
I could just pick those guys out and...
Because all these guys always want to really date you, and you can't waste your time with them.
It's my magical vagina, what can I say?
It is magical. It's bedazzled, I've heard. I haven't seen it personally, and don't plan on doing so.
Unicorns and ponies.
There's a unicorn.
Rainbows.
Or let's just talk about the signs in general, that a guy is only interested in sex in a relationship. And one key thing to understand, though, is all guys want sex.
Yes, well, of course.
Yeah. Well, no, but this is a surprise to some people. Like, women write in and they say, Michael, how do I find the guys that don't just want sex but actually want a real relationship? And a lot of guys who want sex also want a real relationship, though not necessarily with the same people. Kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
But the signs that I'm aware of that a guy would just want sex, if he doesn't actually want to have a date with you, if all he ever seems to do is try to set up situations where you are getting drinks late at night, getting you drunk and then trying to get you back to go home, that kind of thing.
Booty calls.
Yep. If all of his communication with you over text or otherwise is purely sexual, if none of it has any kind of romance or anything like it, if he's never actually asking you questions about who you are beyond the sexual, that is a big
Or doesn't
flaw.
answer them himself.
Yep. We need 3 more of these? Jeez.
Yeah, I think another one is also if he doesn't, there's that whole, like, if he won't respond to your texts right away, but he's constantly texting other people in your presence.
If he won't introduce you to his friends, would be a big one, actually. If he never invites you to meet any members of his friends or his
anyways,
family.
I mean, you know, if you're just going out for drinks or having booty calls, then I mean, come on.
Yeah, but again, like, really, I mean, I think we've done 4 or 5 at that point.
Yeah.
But either way, the number one thing is the context of your relationship purely sexual?
Correct.
And I've said this in a previous video, and I'm sure I'll say it again. Sex doesn't make guys like you as a woman, by the way. He's going to feel pretty much the same way about you after he's had sex with you as he will before he's had sex with you, only slightly more intense of whatever he already felt. If he only saw you as a sex object before you guys had sex, he's probably just going to see you as more of a sex object afterwards. If he was desperately in love with you before you guys had sex, he might be more desperately in love with you.
Just because he comes back for sex doesn't mean he's coming back for you.
No, guys will do that. And one of the big things I was watching a comedian the other day who was talking about how girls will sometimes, or women as well, will meet a guy and will be like, oh, I'm not looking for a serious relationship either, we can just hook up. And you're lying. And the problem is, guys believe you when you say that kind of thing.
Don't say that.
And whether he believes you or not, he thinks the fact that you just said that gives him permission to treat you as nothing more than a sex object. So don't do that. But again, go ahead.
I mean, I think a lot of women think that. And then, you know, there's all these chemicals that are created from the sex, and then they think they feel something when in fact, I mean, all they're feeling is that chemical reaction to nice sex that feels close, and you know, so.
And one of the grand injustices of humanity is that women, sex is more emotionally intense and more bonding for women than it is for men.
It can be, but again, if you realize that a lot of that emotional and bonding is actually just chemical reactions in your body, it's a lot easier to just go, whew, okay.
To point and laugh.
Felt that, let's move on.
But the number one thing to remember, of course, is if all he ever wants to talk about is sex, and if he never wants to have a conversation with you, and the only time you see him he's got his shirt off,
you're not having a relationship.
Not having a relationship at that point.
And he just wants sex.
He's not your boyfriend. And if you want more from us, go to digitalromance.tv. You can learn about our podcast, you can learn about our books and things like that.
So much.
We do way too much, really. We should be more lazy.
We have a huge blog with lots of different people that write for us.
Huge. Check it out. Bye-bye.